I want to start with a theory. If you took the time to click on this link and watch this, you probably care. You are probably looking for an incentive, whether getting an A in the class or at least getting the credits so you graduate, so you can make some future money and have some future options. I think that's true. So that's what the class is about, incentives, why we do what we do. Nobody does anything unless there's an incentive involved. So I started off class. If you missed it, you can think of it yourself. And I mean this. I want the highest results for the students at AIA. I really do. I want the highest results for my colleagues, my teachers, the principals, everybody. I want everybody to have the best situation possible. It doesn't always work out that way. So I posed the question, what can I do to get the most out of my students? I kind of flipped the script there. And people talked and brainstormed and thought of some ideas. Don't think anybody said me talking more. See, I'm making fun of myself because I'm talking more right. Okay, whatever. Okay. Now, I'm not a fortune teller, but I'm guessing it fit into one of these four things. The reason why, these are the four incentives. Sound fancy, they're really not. Monetary positive, monetary negative, non-monetary positive, non-monetary negative. Maybe the word monetary is throwing you off. It just simply means money. Okay, it just simply means money is exchanged here, money is not exchanged here. Positive is what you think it means. Something upbeat, positive, and good. Negative is a penalty, something negative. Words are fancy, ideas are simple. So monetary positive is really common. You go to work, they give you a paycheck. That's the positive. I put the time into work, so I get money or school. I put the time into school, I get the A, I get some future positive incentive from doing that. So that's a positive incentive that involves money. Okay. Monetary negative would be a fine. If I don't pay my credit card bill on time, American Express is going to charge me 27 cents to the dollar. That is negative. That is a problem. So it's going to have money involved, but have a negative effect. Now, a non monetary positive is when you do something doesn't involve money, but you're doing it for positive incentives. You help somebody who's suffering. A kid drops their binder in the hallway, you stop, you help them out. You help them out. You're not getting any money for that, but it maybe makes you feel good about yourself, or it's the moral thing to do, or you like the praise. If somebody sees you do that, if I saw you do that, I'd be like, hey, that's outstanding. I really appreciate you helping people. Now, non-monetary negative is a negative thing that doesn't involve money. So if I get after a kid and yell at them or punish them or kick them out of class or that kind of thing, it's the hope that that negative incentive will make them change. Now, the question I asked you after this is rank the most effective. Using these four incentives, which one influences people the best? Second best, third, and fourth. Now, I'm guessing you're seeing it maybe a little different. It's maybe not one size fits all where it applies to everybody. And I gave you some examples. So, a teacher to student. Do these incentives change based on that dynamic? Parent to a child. If you choose to have children in the future, is there a particular incentive that works best? Romantic partner to romantic partner. Does it change? Boss at work to an employee, different relationship. Friend to friend. Now, there's no right or wrong answer here. I'm just getting you to think. Does your order change based on the relationship, or do you change it up? Do you change it up by the individual? Can you read somebody and say, this is what makes them tick? They either want to get that money, they're scared to lose money, they're looking for positive things to behave right, or they need to be punished to keep them in check. So, anyway, it's more of a thought question, but hopefully, as you are thinking of these four different incentives. We are surrounded by them. It is a daily thing every day of your life. Okay, by the way, let me go full circle here. In the beginning, I said you have an incentive to watch this because you want to do well. I have an incentive making this because I want to do well. Okay, now it's non monetary. Now, if I was an hourly worker and I was getting paid for this by the hour, it would be a monetary positive. So, you see how it switches up. Okay, and we did some reps, the assignments on Google Classroom. I gave you 12 situations, and I'm not going to read them all for the sake of time, but all four of these are covered here. And on that packet, I simply want you to write those letters next to it. I'll do the first one. You can do the other 11 on your own. Situation one, going to work and getting a paycheck at the end of the week. That's fairly easy. That is a monetary positive, so you'd write MP. So again, repetition is the key. You rep it out, you learn it more. So please do that on Google Classroom. Now, once we did that, and again, this is a 2-day lesson, assuming you're out for both days or, I don't know. But the second day we went a little bit deeper, and I put you in the shoes of the CEO, the head honcho, the boss, okay? The HMIC, HWIC, head man in charge, head woman in charge. You're in charge. You're the boss. How would you better AIA? What policies would you create? If you don't know what a policy is, these are rules, procedures, practices to make us better. Now, some things are non monetary. Some things are non monetary. Some things are monetary. It requires money. So I'm giving you a budget of $1 million for the monetary changes. However, you're thinking like get a brand new weight room. Okay, that's some money. I want to hire X amount of teachers. That's some money. And if you're unsure of what that costs, ballpark, I'll tell you in class, and you're going to see how fast the money goes. It is not easy to be the leader, especially when you have a budget, because money goes fast, as a lot of you already know already. And then the last thing we did on the second day, final challenge, I asked you to express success or failure in your AIA policies. So you created these policies. However, how do you prove it worked or didn't work? Now think of some graphs that would show whether your ideas worked or not in numerical form. I want you to work through it yourself, and then I'll give you some examples from my end to make sure we're all good, okay? So there's a 2-day lesson, incentives. Hopefully you got the point. They surround us. They're a daily thing. And is my opinion, to end on my personal opinion, the art of life is knowing what button to push on people because people respond differently to different incentives, and knowing what incentive to give the person in whatever situation you're in, there's a real art to that. But when you master it, it makes you a more effective person. So I ask you all to try to work on that, and you're already pretty good at it, and you're only going to get better as you get older. Okay. So hope everybody's doing well and take good care of yourselves.